Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the first podcast of this channel. I decided to make a podcast about once every week or so, if I can, to update everyone on the status of our production company, where I'd like to go with it, our upcoming projects, yada yada yada, all the new stuff that's going to be going on to our production company. As you know, I haven't stated the name of it yet because we are not the Darkness Films podcast. In fact, I think I'm going to switch the name. I think my lease is up on my lease for my name is up on my YouTube name, so I can finally change it. I'm going to see. There's not any confirmation on that, but as soon as I can, I will definitely change the name of our channel because we aren't really going towards the horror theme that much anymore. We are doing horror films, don't you worry. We love doing horror, we love doing action, we love doing thriller, we love doing all sorts of movies, which is why we shouldn't have condemned ourselves to such a name. So, later on in the future, our name will be changed, and we have a few ideas on the board, but we don't quite know exactly what we're going to rename it. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Contact me through Facebook, Instagram, or anywhere. Now, this is going to be a short podcast because I'm just going to state what I just stated, where we're going to change our name. Our lease is up. We're no longer going to be the Darkness Films. It's going to be changed. And we are going to talk about the Farcry story for a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about what we have in mind, who we have so far, who is available to work with us on this project, and after that, the upcoming projects that we have in the future. So I guess we'll dive right into Far Cry. First of all, this is a story that I've recently come up with. It's been a really good game. If any of you don't know, this is a game made by Ubisoft. Came out, I believe, in February or April, or March or April, I mean. I'm not quite sure which, but it is a fantastic game. I suggest if any of you play video games or you're interested in video games, that you give this one a try. It is available on the PS4, Xbox, and PC, I believe. Those are the only three consoles. I believe you have a premium little thing if you get the PS4.5 or something like that, or whatever the next console is coming out for. Anyways, I played this game, played through the entire story, and I was very fascinated with the villains, the characters, and everything like that. So my plan was to make a story about the small guys, the militiamen within this story. For those of you who don't know, again, the summarized part of the story is that a crazy cult has taken over a county in Hope County in Montana. And this cult is preparing for the end of times. It's a doomsday cult. So they gathered up all these guns and weapons, and they believe that the second coming of, well, not really the second coming. They believe that their leader is their god, basically. And they force people to join their religion by either killing them, baptizing, which is nearly drowning them until they confess, or different things of torture to make them believe in their own god and their own faith. And while this is going on, a militia has been made in Montana, made from the locals who lived around the area. And you play a character who is a deputy made by a local sheriff's department. I guess he's outside of the county because the sheriff's department within the county was paid off and ended up joining the cult. So you and your sheriff go there to arrest the leader of the cult, and let's just say stuff goes south, and you end up staying. Anyways, you end up fighting with this militia, and you take up arms, start taking out all the leaders of this cult, until you get to the very end of the story, yada yada yada, everyone knows the rest. Well, my story was just going to be a small little fan-made clip, based around the little guys of the story, the militiamen and the small cultists, and the hostages that you can free around the county. That's one of the small missions that you can do. And it's just going to be a tiny little segment of a story about that, and about the militiamen, the stuff they go through, the brainwashing that occurs within them, within their ranks, and everything like that. But that's pretty much it. That's all I can say for now about the storyline. Now we'll go on with the people who are on board with this. So far I have Zane Wells. He has been a very talented actor who has worked with me for a long time, almost since the beginning of this little film production that I've made. Hi, Zane, if you're listening to this. Thanks, Betty, for joining us. Also, I'd like to mention that Jackson Lee Miser is also has also volunteered his service for the movie, and Megan Rutledge has also volunteered. She was my, for those of you who don't know, she was my costume and makeup designer for my last movie, Hunted, that I had released last summer. Now, so far, those are the only people I have that have helped, that have volunteered for this production. So I probably need about 2 to 3, maybe 4 other people to volunteer before I can make this production possible. Now, that is the one issue I face at the moment. Everything else seems to fall in line. But before I do anything further with this production, I just want you all to know that I need more people to help me with it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to work on my next projects that I have in mind, which involves kind of a less amount of people, which is probably the direction that my company needs to go towards, which is probably about, I'm talking 1 to 2 actors and 1 cameraman and sound operator on set. That way I can not have to focus on having so many people at a certain place at the same time with all of our schedules, especially since so many of us are in college, which is why I have to wait for the summertime to do any of these projects. So that brings us to our concluding information, which is my next few projects. Now, recently, like yesterday, like last night, I was watching some YouTube videos, some pretty scary ones, and I thought that I'm going to go into the direction of a little bit more horror this time. I think I'm going to make a short film. It's going to be kind of artsy, I think. It's going to be weird, kind of unique, and not really talkative as much. Not a whole lot of script to it. But it's going to be very creepy, that I have in mind. That's all I can say for the moment. Other than that, that's one that I really would like to work on, and I already have a title named up for it and everything. But what I can say here is that I have that to work on. I have a Western movie that I would like to work on. However, that would require more people, which, as I've said before, we are trying to stray away from. I also have a Texas Panhandle kind of movie in mind, where it's kind of a action movie, sort of a thriller, mainly. Kind of a Breaking Bad type of scenario, if that gets you anywhere, involving drugs coming over the border, stuff like that. Many other films. I have about 4 to 5 films in mind, or 4 to 5 projects in mind. I can't really call them films because they're only about, I say, 30-40 minutes long. So that's about it. That's all that I have in mind at the moment, and I wish to work on each one of them. I wish I could finish every single one that I have in mind. However, the production quality that I have in my head, and the amount of actors, the amount of money, the amount of CGI that we would have to obtain would be extraordinary. It would have to be way down the future before I can do anything like this. Now that I'm working as a director and editing my movies, and my dad is the only one who does special effects and stuff like that, it's kind of difficult to be doing all of this production quality with just the two of us. Anyways, that's all I have for right now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little podcast. I'm going to edit it and send it out right away on Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to even put it on our YouTube channel so you guys can have it for a reference anytime. That was my watch going off. It's now 1 o'clock, so I'm going to get to editing this video and send it out to you. Thanks, guys. See you later.